Right from the beginning, the hand of God has been on unlocking the Bible. He opened the way and he provided all of the parts that came into place to make it what it is today. I'm Pastor Colin. I was raised in Edinburgh, Scotland, studied in London, met my wife Karen there, and served a church in North London for 16 years before we came here to Chicago. That was the beginning of a story that changed our lives. I can't tell you the joy of being a pastor. That to me is the greatest joy. Boy, I'd want to do that under any circumstances of life, and I get to do it. You know, it's nearly 20 years now since we as a church took a journey through the whole Bible. We, in 2 years, went from Genesis to Revelation, seeing how the whole Bible is connected to Jesus Christ. That's been shaping for people's faith, and it's really been defining for the ministry of unlocking the Bible as well. Well, the idea of a radio program certainly didn't come from me. It was in an elders meeting at the Orchard, and one of the elders said, you know, we should be thinking about taking the ministry here in this church and putting it on the radio. And Colin, what do you think about that? And I sort of mumbled along in a sort of British way, you know, well, you know, and then one of the elders said, why would you not want to do it? And I thought, here we are, we're in America. That afternoon, someone from Moody Radio asked if he could borrow a tape to do a mock-up of what it would sound like as a radio program. And that was Steve Hiller. To me, this is absolutely amazing that the question would be asked at 9 o'clock in the morning and it would be answered at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think that both Steve and I laugh when we think about the early days and look back on the two of us doing our best would be the way that I would say it. The less these are aired these days, the better it will be. But we started out doing our best and we've sought to learn as we've gone along, and it has been an absolute joy to work together. So after a couple of years, we moved from a weekly program to a daily program. That's a big step. And the number of stations on which the program was being aired increased as well. We need to reach people where they are, and we can use technology in all kinds of ways to do that. So what this meant, for example, was a complete redesign of our website, the use of social media, developing and designing an app, so people are able to access the ministry of unlocking the Bible in multiple ways. Well, John Aiello becoming the executive director of Unlocking the Bible is another piece that has the fingerprint of God all over it. We needed someone to drive this ministry, and that has been a gift from the Lord that has caused a ministry that was growing to move to another level in terms of its expanse and its influence, and I couldn't be more thankful to God for that. So I think the story of how the ministry has developed is really all about the Lord's kindness in two things. One is the people that he's brought to us on the team, and the other is the marvelous, marvelous community of people who've been friends and supporters, who've prayed and given and stood by the ministry of unlocking the Bible. To me, the fact that Unlocking the Bible is being broadcast in London every day of the week is the greatest joy. If I'd stayed in London, we would never have been on the radio in London. This was another amazing hand of God moment on the ministry, that on the very same day that we had just gone live on the air in London, we were invited to move to these prime time slots on all of the Moody radio stations. And we're so grateful for that. But what it means is we have a new level of responsibility, because the audience has increased exponentially, not only here in Chicago, but across the States and indeed around the world. So we want this ministry to abound. The hand of God has been on this work right from the beginning. And now we have these marvelous new doors of opportunity that are opening before us. We want to keep moving forward through every door of opportunity that God opens. And we do that together for the praise and glory of God. Will you help us abound?